2024 has left Tesla in somewhat uncharted territory, and this may actually hurt the bottom line for Tesla, but more importantly for us buyers out there, this is actually good news for us as Tesla tries to step away from the sugar rush tactic of repetitive discounts and price cuts of 2023. But Adam, I thought you said that this was good news for buyers. How is no more discounts good news for buyers like you and I? Well, folks, Tesla is pulling the strings just in a different sequence. Price cuts have royally seen the middle finger salute, unless you live in Denmark, for which it's never been cheaper to buy thanks to a hefty price cut just the other week. But with Denmark being pretty much the outlier here, Tesla has actually been playing around with some attractive finance rates and leasing deals globally. Even in China, they managed to pull together some sort of exclusive package that delivers preferential rates that actually undercut the market in efforts to just really drive up the affordability line. Strangely, but personally, I think it's more of a calculated decision for which we'll get into the reasons why in just a sec. These deals are exclusive to the Model Y. The Model 3 doesn't have the same low interest rates that the Model Y currently has, and I'm talking about the difference of 0.99% in May compared to 6.39% in the USA and 1.8 to 5.9 in the UK. Now, personally, I think that there are a number of factors actually driving this difference. One of the major differences being that the Model Y is actually in greater supply than the Model 3, so they need to sell more Model Ys. But there is also one major elephant in the room that's also a lingering factor that will be influencing a consumer's buyer's decision, which coincidentally is part of what I want to talk about today. That is the Model Y refresh. Now, officially, based on what Tesla said at the start of 2024, and I quote directly from the horse's mouth here, it's important that we communicate transparently that there is no refresh for the Model Y launching this year. So officially, this could be a 2025 Tesla Model Y, but unofficially, as we head into the end of the year, I can't help for consumer sentiment in part, but not all, there is an element of mystery, anticipation, or expectation that Tesla actually delivers ahead of schedule for Q4 of 2024. Remembering that Tesla do tend to release next year's model in Q4 of the year prior. So 2024's models were actually sold in the Q4 of 2023 and so on and so on. So I'm not saying that's actually going to happen here, though there is some planned factory upgrades coming for which we'll discuss shortly. I, however, want to focus on the now and what you can do if this is on the horizon. That's discussing whether taking advantage of near 0% finance, and it's actually 0% in some models in Germany, or do you risk paying more for a new 2025 Tesla Model Y? Just like how the recently refreshed Model 3, that started with higher interest rates. So there's going to be lots to consider here. Enough of the intro. If you haven't already, if you could subscribe to the video, it would be greatly appreciated. Let's get into the conundrum. So first up, let's quickly dabble into the latest Project Juniper news and developments. Has there been anything more substantial to report on a refreshed Model Y? Well, officially, no. Unofficially, the word in the grapevine over the past week is that Giga Berlin will stop some production lines for 5 days in order to optimize processes in the vehicle production and powertrain, with the aim to prepare for future challenges. Now, if there was going to be upgrades in readiness of a new Tesla Model Y, you wouldn't know in advance. This isn't something publicly shared by Tesla. However, that hasn't stopped speculation that the reference to future challenges could actually be some sort of groundwork changes ahead of Project Juniper's release. Personally, this is all speculation, and I therefore take this with a nice bit of grain of salt. The reference to future challenges is so generic, it could be anything. That and Giga Shanghai, just like with the Model 3 refresh, would likely be the first to actually receive such factory upgrades, thanks to its production ramp success it had with the Model 3. That and Tom Zhu's recent redeployment back at Giga Shanghai. Then again, with the hype around the Model Y refresh, that could well help with consumer appetite. But truthfully, time will tell. We're still yet to see a prototype vehicle in the wild, so equally this development could well be nothing, which leads me brilliant to the next point. So why don't you take advantage of these sweet finance deals by Tesla if you're in the market for a Model Y today? You can lease a newly released long-range rear-wheel drive Model Y in the US for $399, or you can lease a Model 3 rear-wheel drive with less space and 50 miles less range at $299. both with the same $2,999 deposit too. Now without the tax credit in the US, there's $6,000 difference between the ticket price. Pretty competitive finance deals, you'd say, right? UK-wise is a similar story, but the Model Y factor is even more compelling. Just not quite as cheap as they are across the pond, but that's a different story for a different day. You can lease a Model 3 for £499 or a Model Y for £399. That's £100 difference, and the deposit is actually lower at £3,591 for the Model Y and £4,491 for the Model 3. It's not just leasing and just the US and the UK here, it's all around the globe. Similar deals have been put in place to whet the mouths of tempted consumers. In May, you could have snapped up a Model Y at a mouth-watering 0.99% APR in the US, but that's since expired. In the UK, you can still get 1.8% APR on PCP and hire purchase finance, and it's 0% in Germany. So to put the time sensitivity into context here, the US rate on the Model Y is now 6.39% if you didn't take advantage of that low 0.99% in May. So whilst the low lease deals are still in place now, low APR interest rate deals are clearly time limited and can end at any point. Therefore, I would not take these low interest rates for granted. This could be a time limited way to actually reduce your monthly repayments for a Tesla Model Y, whether you are a new or an existing customer, but you may still have a doubt or hesitation to proceed. That being that the 2024 Tesla Model Y isn't future-proofed, and the incoming refresh Model Y will make this Model Y feel outdated quickly. Well, if you saw my video on software updates not too long ago, you will have seen the Tesla software updates that I received over the past 3.5 years that has allowed my Tesla Model 3 to keep up with some of the latest features available. The car wasn't promised these features ahead of time, but it still improved and got better, from range, charging speed, comfort and convenience features to just pure entertainment. Therefore, with the latest software chip and hardware for FSD Suite, you'll still stand to receive further upgrades from software upgrades, but it's not just software updates here. Tesla has also introduced new error caps recently to black caps from the silver variants, and these were originally a China exclusive, but it's since made its way stateside, and I really do hope that this becomes a global change, as they do look a little bit easier on the old eyes. It's not a massive change, I know that, but even the current 2024 Tesla Model Y is receiving these hardware changes and enhancements under the skin, and some won't even be able to be seen by the naked eye, then potentially unlocked at a later date via software updates. So rest assured you aren't buying something of the past. The Model Y has actually evolved every year from hardware and software over its lifetime, and it hasn't stayed still since 2020. But surely there will be gains with a 2025 Tesla Model Y, won't there? Yes, by 2025 Tesla Model Y, I'm just referring to the upgraded Model Y or Model Y refresh, and just basing it off its little brother's refresh. We're expecting some minor exterior alterations, but we're expecting the brand new interior, the ventilated seats, the rear passenger screen, suspension upgrades, and also the road noise isolation upgrades. And this is only if it was literally just to be a carbon copy of the Model 3's recent upgrade. The Model 3 and Model Y used to share like 70% of the parts, and I'm pretty sure Tesla want to bring that mutual benefit once again. But even if they do that change, it's likely to receive further improvements over the Model 3 refresh itself to become more distinguished than its little brother. As pure speculation and for inspiration, this could be maybe just the front bumper camera, maybe massage seats, maybe greater thigh support as well, perhaps. But honestly, I'd rather any additional advancements not actually leak via social media, so it's very much a surprise when the new model is finally announced. But when that is going to be in 2024 or early or late 2025, we just truthfully do not know. Before we wrap up, are there any other considerations to perhaps buy a new 2024 Tesla Model Y right now over simply waiting? Rather than financial incentives just from Tesla, if your country still has sort of state EV incentives, looking at you, the US, there is the possibility that those tax credits or state purchase incentives can be wrapped up overnight. Therefore, with sort of potential changes of ruling parties at head of state, for example, that generally comes with changes to tax and spending plans. And so wherever you are, these incentives can just simply disappear in a flash. So that new refreshed Tesla Model Y may suddenly look like a very expensive purchase in comparison to the deal today. So that's one point to consider if the risk of waiting is actually worth it. Another point is just that with this Model Y, you know exactly what you're going to get. You can book a test drive in an instant and get a feel for everything within a few hours. With the refresh Model Y, you'll need to wait for it to be released, only to then be stumped with something like the indicators being on the steering wheel, just like the refresh Model 3. So for someone like me, that really doesn't bother me. But someone that's not willing to take that risk, if you like the comfort of traditional stalks, well, the Tesla Model Y today won't provide you with any surprises, so you know exactly what you're getting into. So to conclude, I personally think that these Model Y deals are probably, if not the very best that they've ever done. Frankly, there's no guarantee that these deals will stay around. We don't know if new time limited finance deals will be less advantageous than present, and we don't know if tax credits will be limited. But you do know that the Tesla Model Y today has some great lease deals and finance deals all around. It's a proven vehicle. You can go out, test drive it, watch hands-on videos back to back with existing owners, etc. You can make the most informed decision today with the deals that are pretty hard to resist. Or you could see what Tesla cook for the new refresh Model Y. There could be a sell-off of existing Model Y stock too at 0% APR like we had with the Model 3 here in the UK back in 2023 ahead of that refresh release. Or the new refreshed Tesla Model Y could enter at above average finance rates like the Model 3 in the UK. And I'm pretty sure it was at like 9.6% just a few months ago compared to 5.9 today. So when it's first released, be prepared to pay the pretty premium for an upgrade. There's just so much uncertainty of what the future holds. Therefore, if you're not willing to take a risk on that, it's probably time to maybe consider a Model Y today before those deals are gone. So what do you think to the Tesla Model Y deals today? Has it actually tempted you, or are you actually going to wait out for the Tesla Model Y refresh? Let me know in the comment section below. Don't forget to subscribe, like the video, and share it with any friends or family that may find it beneficial. Thanks for tuning in, and we'll see you in the next one. Ciao.